ethnic clients.
And your reactions to the headline.
If you look at it, you know that the people are agitating from one place to another. But the result has been announced. If anybody has any problem, let that person go to court.
My own is that the fake promise that he used to deceive Nigeria. This time around, we are waiting for him.
Do you want to keep tabs with trending national, state or local issues? Then listen to Open Parliament every weekday on Family Love 99.9 FM. Umahia. Open Parliament, when the issues are burning.
When I told you that the man is confused, the man doesn't know a direction. He failed because he was not prepared. You cannot get something from nothing. So they are just trying to find somebody to blame for the failure. So they failed and failed mostly.
Well, a two-day meeting between the federal government of Nigeria and the organized labor ended in a deadlock yesterday, with the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress leaders vowing to begin a nationwide protest against the removal of fuel subsidy. Also, there are indications that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will today send a new batch of ministerial nominees to the Senate for screening, while the screening of the first batch of 28 nominees will be concluded today. In Abia State, the Federal High Court of Abuja has restrained the Judicial Panel of Inquiry on Recovery of Government Properties and Funds from probing the administration of the immediate past Governor Dr. Keze Pazu. Governor Alex Oti has said the state would not afford to obey the controversial 2-week sit-at-home order declared by Finland-based Simon Epa. But how does he intend to go about it? These are some of the big stories we'll be looking at this morning, live on Open Parliament, live on the frequency. My name is Mr. C. And joining me to talk on this and more, I've got usual but regular guest every other Wednesday, a fellow of ethical leadership from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, a pioneer inductee, National Integrity Hall of Fame, former Secretary General of Argon, a fellow of Chartered Institute of Forensic and Fraud Investigators of Nigeria, Interpol Systems Consultant and Security Expert, Sir Chikwe Udensi. Good morning, sir. Welcome to Open Parliament this morning.
Good morning, Mr. C. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's start from somewhere. And, well, the big one has to do with the organized labor. I'm talking about the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress insisting and vowing to begin a nationwide protest today, and this against the removal of fuel subsidy. Is it a long time coming, you think?
Well, it is not a long time coming, Mr. C, because most of us were not expecting that despite the non-formation of proper government, because government is not properly formed yet, we only have the president and some of the members of the National Assembly. Many cases the National Assembly is still unresolved. So government is not properly formed yet. So we were a little bit surprised that the timing is not what it ought to be. But Mr. C, let me be very frank to you that I'm very impressed with this government. The sensitivity they have exhibited, and the quick response they have given to so many things. It is the actual way to start. Once the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress, once they gave the ultimatum and then declared their date for industrial action, the government went into action. They inaugurated quickly a team to discuss with them. And Mr. C, for the first time in the history of our country, look at the composition. I was surprised to see the National Security Advisor as one of those leading the team, and also the Chief of Staff, the Mr. President, and also a retinue of government officials who were there, especially in the area of finance and economics. And Mr. Z, you followed also very closely the demand of Nigeria Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress. I saw that most of them they have several demands, but I picked up a few of the demands which I felt was a little bit ridiculous, and then I do not know how they intend for the country to achieve that. One of the major demands, in fact the major demand, is a reversal of the subsidy removal, that we should go back to subsidy. And you can see, I do not know who is advising these gentlemen. It is true that government ought to have involved or put in place these palliatives to go simultaneously with the removal of the subsidy. But everybody, including my humble self, everybody believes the subsidy regime was a very fraudulent one and ought to have been removed long time ago. So the removal right now is a plus. So to ask for it to be reversed would be an anomaly. What Labour should be talking about is those relevant and subsisting contentions of government, where they have given all kinds of palliatives which they want to put in as soon as possible. Surprised me too, Mr. C, was their request for the payment of salaries of lecturers for the 8 months they were on strike. Mr. C, this issue has been adjudicated by the courts. There is a no work, no pay policy of government. So I'm surprised they are coming back to that, especially now. The timing is very important. We are saying it is a wrong time to commence an industrial action. The country is suffering already. We should look for solutions on how best to resolve the issues we have on ground. Going to compound the problem is very unpatriotic of both the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congresses of Nigeria. And I also had one ridiculous one they talked about. They asked about reduction of the exchange rate of the naira to the dollar. It is not the duty of government. Government does not do that. They don't reduce it. You are asking us to go back to that, the old system of having dual market processes for one single currency, which is not right. We shouldn't have the official currency, official rate, and then have the black market rate, which is being carried out by what they call the greedy changes in the country. We ought not to continue, go back to Egypt. No, we have commenced the process. It is going to be difficult. Mr. C, you know, you can certainly not make omelette without breaking egg. We must have to understand that those processes of changing the negatives we have is a very difficult one. It has its pains. I only quarrel with government for not in those palliatives early enough. But as to whether those changes are necessary, they are necessary. They are very, very important. So let us also look at those palliatives that government has put in place.
Before you get to the palliatives, because I'm sure Abians who are listening and Nigerians to you now probably find it interesting, your take on the timing of this nationwide protest, because indeed there are complaints against the NLC and the other unions that they have been quite docile. In fact, some have christened them toothless bulldogs. How would you reconcile those complaints as against your take on the timing of this protest?
Well, Mr. C, I do not want to negotiate with gossips and talks. Calling them toothless bulldogs, it's only a matter of gossip. It is subject to some negotiated discussions. It is not important for us to look at that. We have to look at the substance of the matter, Mr. C. Number one, it is not timeless. It is not timeless according to legal jargons. It is not the time to commence on an industrial action right now. This is the wrong time, Mr. C. Especially, we are all aware that last month that they had wanted to commence this process, and that the federal government went to the National Industrial Court and got an injunction. You can see that injunction is still subsisting. We have a subsistent injunction stopping the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress from going to strike or calling out their workers on an industrial pending the determination of the suit which government instituted. Are they being wrong? What we are advocating now, Mr. C, is that orders of court must be obeyed. And there's a subsisting order. Even when there is no subsisting order, everybody knows that government is not properly in place. It is only when government is properly in place that we can begin to look at those ancillaries, incidentals. But right now, there's no government in place. The process of forming the government is what is being done right now.
Okay.
It was only yesterday that the first batch, the 28 ministerial nominees, were screened by the National Assembly. But there are no ministers. We don't have ministers. So, you also know that all the boards and the agencies have all been dissolved. The boards have been dissolved. So we don't even have a proper government in place. Right. So it's not timely. They ought to back out from that industrial strike.
Well, the president, Bola Tinubu, on Monday did have a nationwide address where he sought to kind of give hope to the sufferings of the masses. He ruled out palliatives the federal government has put in place, some of which was unveiling a 500 billion palliative, which he said would be shared to manufacturers, small businesses and farmers. He also disclosed plans to increase salaries, the minimum wage that is, and acquire 3,000 CNG-powered mass transit buses for the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. As lofty as it sounds, there are those who believe that, hey, this should have come before the subsidy removal. What a take, first off, on the said president's address and the palliatives he turned out.
Yes, I listened to the national broadcast of Mr. President. Within the first 2 months of the subsidy removal, the country was able to save over 1 trillion. So you see, Mr. C, those palliatives were coming from those gains that we recorded during the first 2 months of the removal of subsidy. Yes, Mr. C, 125 billion going to small and medium scale enterprises and manufacturers. 125 billion, that's a lot, Mr. C. And look at the conditions too, that they were less than, they are all single digit interest rates. And they had to pay. Some of us in businesses, we have suggested that they would have gone a little bit further by giving at least a period of monitoring there ought to have been a period where they ought to organize their businesses and start making profit before they should start paying interest on the money. We had suggested at least a minimum of 1 year. The president ought to have given people the leverage of at least let your business situate. When the business must have situated, then we will start talking about charges. Otherwise, the profit being made could go to charges, and then the business could not grow. I also looked at the release, very important, the release from the national silos, the release of over 200 metric tons of grains. It's very fundamental. I don't even know we have that number of grains in our silos. Why do we keep this number of grains in our silos and the nation is suffering? With what the president told us, about 200,000 metric tons of grains will be released from the silos. And also the provision of about 225,000 metric tons of fertilizer. You can see I was also impressed with the amount of agricultural input that the president announced. 2 areas, rice and maize, each of them were to get 50 billion, and they are to cultivate 150,000 hectares of land. You can see this is a leap, a massive leap. I don't know who should think otherwise in this direction. If you ask me, this is a massive step in the right direction. And also, not only that, both wheat and cassava are to receive 50 billion too. Each of them, 50 billion. And they designated over 100 hectares of land for this purpose. You can see the transport section, the transport sector, was not left alone. We were told that 100 billion naira is to go for the procurement of about 3,000 buses, 20-seater buses. And the impressive thing about these 20-seater buses that they are going to be the natural gas buses. It is not petroleum. We're not talking about where you are going to add more problem given the removal of the subsidy. So it is going to come from natural gas, vehicles using natural gas. So the argument from especially the CUC president, I heard this argument that 3,000 in a country of over 200 million with 774 local governments is not enough. And it's true. But it's a good start. We didn't have this before. We cannot achieve everything in one day. If you are saying that, yes, we need more, of course we need more, but let us start from somewhere. Even these 3,000 buses, how will they be produced locally, or how will they be imported? I hope the emphasis will be on local production. Another area that interested me also was the insistence that there is going to be an upward review of the minimum wage. The president has said this even from the time he started. I was impressed with that. I was impressed with his desire to make sure that there's a livable wage, not just a minimum wage. But then, Mr. C, these processes of the federal government ought to be domesticated by the governors of the state. I'm very disappointed that only about 5 governments at the state level have gotten involved in this domestication of the palliatives. Only 5. And I was impressed with Lagos state government about the transport between 25% and 50% reduction on the transport fares. The government had to, apart from their own transport, government-owned transport rails, they were going to negotiate with private transporters to make sure that these 25 to 50% reduction. I was also impressed with Benue. Benue have already commenced the procurement of 120 buses. I was impressed with Kogi. The reduction of the number of hours workers were now asked to come to work. These are the things that ought to happen, not just at the federal level, state and local government. It has to be national. Because if you only allow federal government to do that, then the true federalism of our state doesn't exist anymore. Let the states domesticate the palliative arrangement, especially as it's been initiated by Mr. President, and also take part in the implementation of even the federal government program on these domestications.
Time check is 23 minutes gone past 9. Open Parliament, Interpol Systems consultant, Chikwe Udensi is a guest here. Flips are talking about. Away from the planned protest by the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress and the palliative churned out in a nationwide broadcast by the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Let's look at the formation of the government at the federal level. Section 147.3 of the 1999 Constitution mandates the President to appoint at least one minister from each of the 36 states of the Federation. The President did transmit a letter of 28 minister nominees to the National Assembly. The Senate precisely will understand conclusion of that first batch. Screening would be today. Indications that a second batch would be sent today. Well, the set list was overshadowed by politicians, including ex-governors, serving and former members of the Senate and House of Representatives. Significantly, 4 ex-governors made the list, the likes of Nyesom Wike of Rivers State, David Umahi, who himself is a senator from Ebonyi State, Nasir El-Rufai of Kaduna, and Abubakar Badero of Jigawa, and a list of others as well. I'm sure you've been keeping tabs with the screening going on at the red chambers. Is it sophisticated enough? How impressed are you with, particularly with the names?
Yes, Mr. Z. I have glued my eyes on the television and read almost everything that has to do with the nomination of the ministers. First and foremost, Mr. Z, the provision of the Constitution 147, as you said, and then the amendment that says that it must be done within 60 days. Mr. C, the President has not nominated one minister per state. He has not. All we have now is 28. And this has not been done within the 60 days, Mr. C. The 60 days has gone past the past 4 days, and still we do not have at least 36 plus 1 Abuja, 37 ministers. We don't have that. And even when this one came a few days to the expiry date, we were all thinking, maybe the President was somewhere in the United Nations, somewhere looking for some experts in areas. But the names we started seeing are very disturbing names, especially when and where there are no allocations of ministries for the screening. We are a little bit disappointed with the case. So after waiting for all this time, we had to see the people that were being sent for screening. You see, I was also disappointed to a large extent with the performances of the nominees. I was a little disappointed, extremely disappointed with the case. In fact, I could not sleep last night after listening to the last batch of the ministers. What happened with Buhari appears to be a child's play when it comes to the quality of ministers we are putting across. Only a few of them, I could say that have the capacity to take us away a little bit from the problems we have right now. It's a thing, when you have a enormous problem, as we have right now in a country, you need some quality experts, very quality experts, only a few of them. And if you ask me, if I take a look backwards to some few years ago, El-Rufai is a good appointment given him what he did at the Federal Capital Territory when he was Minister of FCT. It's a very good appointment. What he did in FCT, because I was here, I saw exactly the processes he took to make sure things worked. You can effectively contrast it with what Bello did 8 years of Buhari. Bello was a disaster. The former minister of FCT was a disaster. Look at the quality of transport system we have. When NFI was there, we had public transportation, effective public transportation. Because they were not enough, but they were sizable to make sure that we didn't have all these rickety, extreme rickety cars we have today flying the roads in Abuja. I also feel comfortable with the appointment of His Excellency, the former governor of Ebonyi State, given what he did in Ebonyi within 8 years, and with so much little resources. If you compare his resources with the neighbors, magnificently well, enormously well, Mr. C. So, from what he did yesterday, I'm comfortable that maybe whatever ministry they give him will be able to take us away from where we are right now, because the country is currently bleeding. One other area, one other nominee that I was very interested in was Professor Patel. I was Secretary General of ALGON when Professor Patel was the Director General of the Nigerian Primary Healthcare Agency. He was phenomenal. He was very effective. He was very competent. And I had no doubt that was the reason why international bodies quickly took him away, even when he was made Minister of State for Health in the country. As it had to do with our state, the nominee is a former member of the Federal House of Representatives, Honorable Onyechacha. I do not know her personally. I have not had direct discussions with her. I have not had direct interactions with her. But I'm very satisfied with her contributions. I've listened to a few of her contributions on the floors of the Federal House. Very smart, very intelligent. I hope she will bring to bear that level of intelligence, which I saw was a whole lot above average. You see, I was very disturbed, extremely disturbed with the quality of question interactions of members of the Senate. The Senate floor was converted to a market. There was random movement of people. Mr. C, juxtapose this to the parliament sitting in South Africa. Let me not go to America. If you go to America, you are going too far. Look at the orderliness of other. There was a marketplace in the Senate. Everybody was moving from left, right, and center, and they were all approaching even the Senate president at the same time. I watched in disgust and frustration. What was that movement all about? And Mr. C, look at the questions that they asked. Most of them were praise fingers. There were no quality questions asked, except maybe for the young man who said he only 2 credits, and he was asked, how then did you enter the university? And we were told that the answer was that there's nothing God cannot do.
What God cannot do does not exist.
What God cannot do does not exist. Can you imagine that, Mr. C? How can you imagine that somebody could be a graduate with only 2 credits? This is unfortunate. But generally, the questions that came from the Senate was substandard, especially when a question came from the senator that was from the state where the nominee comes from. You will see that there was a parsimony. There was a total lack of intelligence. There was a total substandard questioning. In fact, most of the questioning was praise singing.
Okay.
Mr. C, is that the way to screen those who are to pilot the affairs of the ministries of the nation?
All right.
If you ask me, I will say, hell no.
Let's take a pause here now. Would return for more of your take on the screening going on in the red chambers of the National Assembly. Mind you, listener, we still have Abia's story. The Federal High Court Abuja restraining the government of Abia State and the panel set up to recover properties and funds. I'm going ahead. Stay with us. Open Parliament.
Experience the smooth and strong feeling that consistently surpasses expectation. Leading the way in high-performance lubricants, Master Supermoto Oil is as durable as titanium. Experience the smooth and strong feeling that consistently surpasses expectation. Leading the way in high-performance lubricants, Master Supermoto Oil is as durable as titanium. Experience the smooth and strong feeling that consistently surpasses expectation. Leading the way in high-performance lubricants, Master Supermoto Oil is as durable as titanium. Experience the smooth and strong feeling that consistently surpasses expectation. Leading the way in high-performance lubricants, Master Supermoto Oil is as durable as titanium. Experience the smooth and strong feeling that consistently surpasses expectation. Leading the way in high-performance lubricants, Master Supermoto Oil is as durable as titanium. Experience the smooth and strong feeling that consistently surpasses expectation. Leading the way in high-performance lubricants, Master Supermoto Oil is as durable as titanium. Experience the smooth and strong feeling that consistently surpasses expectation. Leading the way in high-performance lubricants, Master Supermoto Oil is as durable as titanium.
Alright, thanks for keeping it logged right here on Open Parliament. Midweek edition, Interpol Systems Consultant, Chikwe Udensi, a guest in the program. My name is Mr. C, and before the break, we're looking at the ministerial nominee screening going on at the red chambers of the National Assembly as we speak. We would get into Abia stories, but for a summation, what belief, if you like, how optimistic are you with the makeup of the nominees so far screened at the National Assembly?
Thank you very much, Mr. C. By nature and nurture, Mr. C, I am an optimist. I have always believed that no matter how worse it is, we can still find some goodness in very bad situations. But you see, when it comes to these quality of nominees, I'm still optimistic, but my optimism is very restrained, Mr. P. I have very restrained optimism. But however, I have mentioned a few people who I believe will give us succor. I mentioned those who believe will do very well, given their positions or what they have done yesterday. I also know a few people who will bring trouble to the system. I hope they will keep their trouble where they are coming from. What we require right now, Mr. C, are solutions. So, in all honesty, I'm very optimistic, though restrained optimism, hoping that along the line, Daniel will come to judgment.
Okay. Well, the governor of Abia State, Dr. Alex Oti, has said the state would not and cannot afford to obey the controversial 2-week stay-at-home order as declared by Simon Ekpa, who is based in Finland. He said this on Monday in Abuja, shortly after a security meeting convened by the National Security Advisor Nuhuri Badu to address insecurity in the southeast. This is according to a statement by the governor's chief press secretary, Mr. Kezie Uko. What do you make of this comment in line with what we are having happening in Enugu State with the governor, Peter Mba, taking the bull by the horn, going as far as locking up shops of citizens of that state, maybe residents who are observing sit at home. This one happened last week. How can he effectively ensure that we don't have the observance in the state, you think?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. C. You remember that I have severally and generally given my opinion as it has to do with these unrest and insurgency in the southeast. Mr. C, I have made it very clear that we are essentially interested in handling the symptoms of the disease. We have refused, or we have rejected, we have been unable to treat that disease itself. Because you know what the problem is. Simple. The continuous detention of Nnamdi Kanu against 3 orders of competent courts of competent jurisdiction. 3 orders. The continuous detention of Nnamdi Kanu has remained the pain, has remained the problem of the Southeast insurgency. And not until this is handled and handled properly the way it ought to be, we cannot see any silver lining. We can't see any light, even at the end of the tunnel. So, we should do the right thing. However, Mr. C, as it has to do with Simon Ekpa, I was impressed, very, very impressed with the response of the ambassador to Finland, the Finnish ambassador. I was very impressed with the response she gave. 2 responses. The first response was the one she gave to our ebullient senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Engineer Abaribe. And also the one she gave to the press when they discussed about Simon Ekpa. It's actually a very, very interesting response. Simon Ekpa is a Finnish resident and citizen. He resides in Finland and he's a citizen of Finland. If you have any allegation against him, go and file a suit in the country where he resides and where he's a citizen. Simon Ekpa is not, I was told he has renounced his Nigerian citizenship and said he is a citizen of Biafra. Only God knows if there's any country called Biafra right now. And he says he's not a citizen of Nigeria. He's only a Finnish citizen. So the ambassador said, this only simple way, go and file a suit against him in a country from where he's a citizen and where he resides. Nothing can be better enunciated than that. And also, Mr. C, she said that she has looked at all the clips, all the recordings of paper. None of them have said that anybody should be killed. None of them have said that anybody should carry arms against the nation as it has been obtained in our country today. None of them have seen Simon carrying AK-47, carrying Uzi, and displaying publicly and still walking free on the streets of Nigeria. None of them have used derogatories, have used very strong sentimental languages against the sovereignty of the nation. That's what the woman is saying. And the woman went ahead to say that even if there are subjects like that and the APA should come to Nigeria to face the laws of the land, she says that will be difficult because Finland is a law-abiding nation. In Nigeria, the government does not obey court orders, the police does not obey court orders, the army, the navy, the air force, the DSS can arrest you, detain you, and you go to court and get an order of court asking that you should be released on bail, and the DSS will disobey, ignore that order of court and still detain you. This is what we have in Nigeria. Even the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, will detain you on an allegation of fraud. And the court will give orders that they should be released, and they will not release you. We have cases where the Nigerian police force, whose duty is maintenance of law and order in the country, have been ordered by courts of competent jurisdiction to reinstate members of the police force who have been wrongfully dismissed from service, and that order is not obeyed. In a lawless society like that, how would you want a senior citizen to come to be adjudicated in a court where their judgment will not be obeyed? Mr. C, that is the position. That is what we have. So now, if the country, if the nation is interested in making sure that we go back to healing and restoring the integrity of the country knows what to do. First and foremost, we need justice. We don't need an unjust society. No justice, no honesty, no peace can reign in an unjust society. As I talk to you today, Mr. C, the country is unjust. Mr. C can be picked up from your offices today, detained for months, even when the judgments of court have said, release Mr. C on bail. The agency keeping Mr. C can ignore judgments of court and nothing will happen. Which country of the world can release their citizens to a jungle like Nigeria?
All right. We'll go to the phone lines now to get reactions, and definitely, hopefully, we have you react to the restraining order given by a Federal High Court Abuja on the panel of inquiry set up by the government of Dr. Alex Oti against the immediate past administration of Dr. Okeze Paz. But here are the phone lines if you want to react real quick. 1 minute each for your reaction. 0816 111 5955 or 0701 651 4107. 1 minute. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Calling from Omaya.
Welcome. Go ahead.
See, when federal government says they want to extradite Simon Etta, it's very laughable issue, because the issue these guys are fighting are globally convention, and Nigeria is signatory to it. It's what gave Nigeria independent. So sit at home, have been tolerated as a mission to release Nnamdi Kanu. It's not true. Nnamdi Kanu, I thought it was the first to start the sit at home. It's Mahatma Gandhi of India. he used it to achieve independence of India. It was when Nnamdi Kanu was wrongly kidnapped in Kenya that people started to adopt that measure. Yes, sir. So they should, if they have filed a traditional order in Finland, are they going to tell the Finland sit at home is wrong and self-determination is a crime?
Thank you.
In the other community.
Thank you. Thank you very much. 1 minute to come through. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. C.
Good morning to you.
Obrigado.
Obrigado.
Good morning, sir. Chikwe Udensi.
Good morning, sir.
Who say man know there's the name I'm calling from Umar. Happy New Year to you guys.
Same to you. Same to you, my brother.
I want to appreciate our guest for always sensitizing us, encouraging us, and saying it how we stand. I want to encourage the protest. It is never a strike, like because the court has a federal government said I've went to court to get court injunction concerning NLC going on strike, which I see as even as I don't know. Let me not use some certain word now that will look as if I'm trying to insult the federal government. But for them to go for protest, they welcome the government. But I'm still encouraging the speech of the president to put it in action. Action speaks better than words. He talked about a lot of things. Finally, let the state government. We are not talking about the money that they are receiving today. When you talk, look at it, you are attacking the government. The money, the allocations that they are receiving has increased drastically. They should be able to affect lives of the citizens. Like in Abia State, some governors have been increasing their salary and doing other things.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate. We'll have another caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. C.
Good morning to you.
Good morning to guest at the house. Good morning, Charles.
Welcome, Charles. 1 minute, please.
Yes. I want to agree with the guest on what he said about the labor and the protest and strike. I think it is in time. And again, they're meeting with the federal government. And just as he has read out a lot of things that should be done, which have not been this country before. Just like we remove the fuel subsidy, which everybody says is a wrong thing, and nobody has been able to remove it. I think what they should do is give him time and monitor these things and make sure that these things are done. And which you say that I'm telling you this. What they have said, what they have said is only stated and politics. Which is they're going to hurt the people they say they want to protest the war.
Thank you.
So they should let the federal government monitor those things Tinubu has said and make sure that they are done. That's what they should do.
Thank you. Appreciate. We have another caller. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. C.
Good morning to you.
Good morning, Sir Chikwe Udensi. Good morning, sir. My name is Chikwe Udensi.
Welcome.
Chikwe Udensi. In fact, whenever I listen to you, you make my day that day. You are a very intelligent man. To me, you don't need to contest for. You need to be the president of this country. When I listen to you make me happy. See, not to bring back a man to this country is a problem. Because if you bring back a man and waiting the regular man, another person will take over. The problem will continue. Let them release that man for us. I'm expecting the governor from South to go and see Tinubu. How do you go and see Tinubu and tell the president to release this man for them? Let them come back with that man. The thing also will die natural. So talk about to go and bring back expert from Finland, it is that. Can we end the problem? We cannot end the problem. You can see, they thought when arrest the thing will stop. The arrest the thing will increase. So how do you think that if you arrest the bring him back, the thing will not work again? So it's better they release the man. That is what we are talking about.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Well, quickly, sir, if you will, talk about the Federal High Court in Abuja granting an interim injunction against the IGP of police. I'm talking about the Inspector General of Police, the government of Abia State, and the panel of Inquiry and Recovery of Government Properties and Funds set up in June by the governor. I know you've gone through this. When we brought this up last week on the alarm raised by the Chief Press Secretary to the governor on the ground that the former governor and his acolytes were actually forum shopping to get an interim order from a court. And boom, here's it. What do you make of it? What's the next step you think the Abia State government should take?
Thank you, Mr. C. If you recall, when this question came earlier, Mr. C, in one of the open parliaments we had, when it came up earlier, Mr. C had held a position. When I make my positions open in an open parliament, it is because I have tried to reach governments and they do not listen to me. Especially the government of Chikwe Udensi. Chikwe Udensi was never listening at all, never took advice, and never did anything for the benefit of the people. But Electricity is a little bit listening. I've had the privilege of communicating with him a few times on some of his policies. He's very listening and he's very amenable to changes. And the truth is that you recall that in that open parliament a few times ago, I did indicate that the process being taken by the government of Electricity to investigate or recover the funds and property of Abia State in government officials' hands was a wrong process. In fact, those that were inaugurated were wrong people. You know, I did mention that. I said it very clearly. Number one, Mr. C, you can never be a judge in a matter you initiate or initiate. If you initiate a matter, you must have to allow others to be judges in that matter you initiate. You cannot accuse anybody of any crime and then put in place a machinery to try the person by yourself. You cannot be the accused and be the judge at the same time. I said this very clearly. And moreover, even if you are doing that, you should use a constitutional means and also use those who are competent in doing that. I said this and said it very clearly. And I say I have no problem with the government going to recover stolen funds. I am one of those who have encouraged it. In fact, I said that if this government does not do it, I'm going to do it myself. I don't have any problem in doing that. And we do not have any problem in saying that those who have fraudulently taken our property and our funds should bring them back for the benefit of those it is meant for. However, it should be done properly and it should be done in keeping with the provisions of the law. That has not been done. Those who are being used to do this now, those constituted by government for that purpose, are not the right people to be constituted. And that is not even the right process. I've said this and said it over. Number one, Mr. C. Number one, we should allow judiciary to take that course. It does not have to be a government appointed arrangement or in the alternative. The amended Police Act and then the Administration of Criminal Justice Act have allowed private investigators to work. I work so many registered private investigators, including my humble self. We can go to work to make sure that Abia's property is recovered and recovered in full. However, Mr. C, having observed that, according to him, I saw, not from the court records, but from what I saw in social media, the previous government is afraid that there's a witch hunt coming. Having observed that, it is within the legal ambit of Chikwe Udensi to approach the courts. And that's what he did. What he did is civilized. What he did is what an honest Nigerian should do. If you find that there's some danger coming to you, approach the courts. Okay, they have not gone to TED Talks to approach his perceived injustice coming. I'm not going to take arms against anybody.
Okay.
What Okezie is doing is going to court.
All right.
And that is what you ought to do.
Okay. Well, we're going to leave it here, sir, because we are definitely out of time. But we're going to do this again next week, hopefully, and God willing. Thanks for coming through, as always, sir, on the program.
Thank you, Mr. C. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, listener, for being a part of your calls, your listenership. We'll do it again, same time, same station next week. The returns tomorrow, though, open Parliament. Newsroom is next. My name is Mr. C.